Welcome to Experiments in Happiness with Michelle Lemus, the podcast for high achieving women who've checked all the boxes but still feel something's missing.
We tend to underestimate the smallest decisions, not the obvious ones, not the ones that feel important, not the ones we sit with for days or weeks weighing pros and cons, the small ones, the quiet ones, the ones we barely notice ourselves making, the ones that don't come with a big internal debate or a dramatic announcement. Because somewhere along the way, we learn that change is supposed to look big, visible, obvious, like a before and after photo, a bold declaration, a clean break, a new identity. If it doesn't feel intense, it must not be meaningful. If it doesn't hurt a little, it must not count. But real change doesn't usually arrive that way. Most real change sneaks in. It slips into your life through tiny, almost forgettable choices you make on ordinary days when no one is watching and no one is clapping. And those choices, they compound. We ignore the small stuff because it doesn't feel productive. There's no dopamine hit, no rush, no sense of accomplishment. Choosing water instead of another coffee, stopping work 5 minutes earlier than usual, taking one slow breath before responding to a message, noticing your jaw is clenched and letting it soften. None of these feel like turning points. So we dismiss them. We tell ourselves they're too small to matter. But your nervous system doesn't think that way. Your nervous system is not tracking milestones, it's tracking safety. And every small decision you make sends a signal, not a loud one, a quiet one. A signal that says either, I'm listening to you, or I'm overriding you again. There's a concept that floats around a lot, the idea that 1% improvements lead to massive change over time. And while that idea often gets wrapped up in hustle culture, I want to slow it way down. Because this isn't about becoming more efficient, it's about becoming more aligned. Every tiny decision you make answers a question your brain is always asking: what kind of person am I today? Not who you want to be, not who you plan to be, who you are today. When you choose the slightly kinder option for yourself, the slightly calmer response, the slightly more honest boundary, the slightly softer way of being with yourself, you are teaching your system something important. I am someone who takes care of myself, even when it's inconvenient, even when it's subtle, even when no one else notices. And that identity doesn't form through declarations, it forms through repetition. Here's something most people don't realize: big changes feel threatening to the nervous system. They activate uncertainty, they trigger alarm bells, they require vigilance, willpower, and a lot of internal pressure. Small changes feel safe enough to try. That's why tiny decisions work when big resolutions fail. They don't activate fight or flight. They don't demand perfection. They don't require you to become a different person overnight. They slide under the radar. And over time, your system starts to trust you, not trust the world. Trust you. Trust that you'll pause instead of push. Trust that you'll listen instead of override. Trust that you won't always abandon yourself to meet someone else's expectation. That trust is not abstract, it's felt, and it changes how you move through your days. On good days, big changes can feel exciting. On hard days, tiny decisions are everything. On hard days, they're the difference between self abandonment and self respect. 1% more rest instead of powering through. 1% more honesty instead of people pleasing. 1% more compassion instead of self criticism. These aren't dramatic acts. They won't make for an inspiring story at a dinner party, but they are quiet votes for the kind of life you want to live. And votes add up. One of the biggest reasons we dismiss small decisions is all or nothing thinking. It's sneaky. It disguises itself as logic. If I can't do it perfectly, why bother? If today is already off, I might as well give up. This one small thing won't change anything, but all or nothing thinking keeps you stuck in extremes. It teaches your nervous system that it's either full effort or total collapse. Tiny decisions keep you in motion, and motion, even slow, imperfect motion, is how nervous systems learn safety. This is the reframe that changes everything. Progress is not about intensity, it's about consistency at a level your system can tolerate. If a change feels unsustainable, it won't last. If it feels gentle enough to repeat, it compounds. Your life is not built in leaps. It's built in micro moments you repeat without burning out. So instead of asking yourself to overhaul your life, I want to invite you into something much quieter. For 1 week, don't try to fix yourself. Don't try to become someone new. Just ask this question once or twice a day. What would 1% better look like right now? Not 10%. Not impressive, not optimized, just 1%. That might look like standing up to stretch instead of staying frozen in your chair. Drinking a glass of water before deciding what to do next. Pausing before replying to that message. Lowering the volume, literally or emotionally. Going to bed 5 minutes earlier. Choosing neutral self-talk instead of negative. Not forcing positivity. Just reducing harm. No tracking, no streaks, no pressure, just noticing. What usually surprises people is not a burst of motivation. It's relief. Relief from pressure, relief from self-judgment, relief from the belief that change has to hurt to count. And slowly, almost quietly, something else happens. You start to trust yourself again because you're no longer asking yourself to become someone else overnight. You're asking yourself to show up being slightly just today. And I want to speak directly to the woman who hears all of this and still worries that choosing small means settling. Choosing small does not mean you're playing small. It means you're playing smart. It means you're working with your nervous system instead of against it. Tiny decisions are how you build a life you don't need to escape from. 1% more care is still care. 1% more honesty is still honesty. 1% more rest is still rest. And gentle consistency beats dramatic effort every single time. So we'll keep experimenting because happiness isn't created in one bold move. It's created in the quiet, ordinary moments where you choose yourself just a little more than yesterday.
Thanks for listening to Experiments in Happiness. You can find more tools and resources at experimentsinhappiness.com.